Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going on a pretty unbelievable trip. We are taking an exclusive, fully guided tour into an extraordinary, ancient underwater cosmic court. I mean, if you've ever wondered what the absolute most exclusive celestial sanctuary looks like, who actually gets invited, how it's built, and what goes down inside, well, you are in the exact right place. Let's get into it.
We're going to kick things off with a really striking quote drawn directly from our source text. Picture this. The cosmic traveler Narada is speaking to the king, and he says, "O Yudhishthira, the celestial Sabha of Varuna is unparalleled in splendor." I just love that line because it immediately immerses us in the perspective of this ancient narrative. We aren't just reading some dry description here. We're essentially listening to a world-weary traveler recount literally the most magnificent sights in the universe. But really quickly, before we go any further, we should probably define our setting. What is a Sabha? Basically, it's defined as a celestial assembly house or a cosmic court. By defining this right out of the gate, we get a true sense of the gravity of our location. We're not just stepping into some fancy dining room. We are entering a highly exclusive, divine gathering space where the literal powers of the cosmos convene.
And you know what's truly fascinating? It's how the ancient text establishes the spatial context for the reader. It doesn't give us the square footage or anything like that. Instead, it explicitly compares the immense dimensions of Varuna's court to that of Yama, the Lord of Death. To the ancient audience, this was basically the ultimate shorthand for a vast, sprawling, absolutely awe-inspiring architectural wonder.
Okay, let's dive into this, and yes, pun totally intended, because the sensory details of this architecture are just extraordinary. This palace was built entirely within the waters by the celestial architect Viswakarma. It features these pure white walls and arches that you have to imagine just glow brilliantly beneath the waves. It's surrounded by magical trees that literally yield gems and jewels instead of regular fruit, and perhaps most luxuriously of all, the text emphasizes that the atmosphere of the mansion has a perfect climate. It is never too cold and never too hot.
The vibrancy of life inside this place is staggering. The text tells us there are hundreds and thousands of diverse, variegated birds. They're just pouring forth these beautiful melodies among lush bowers bursting with heavy blossoms. We're talking vibrant blues, yellows, blacks, darkish hues, whites, and reds. It is a completely breathtaking environment. So with a pure white, multi-room mansion of this unbelievable scale, surrounded by gem-bearing trees and thousands of singing birds, the natural question is, who actually gets to host this unparalleled underwater gathering? Well, let's meet our hosts. Seated in this furnished mansion is the Lord of the Waters himself, Varuna, and he's bearing his signature noose weapon. Beside him on the throne is his queen. The text describes them both as just dripping in celestial jewels, attired in divine robes, adorned with sweet scents, and besmeared with pastes of celestial fragrance. I mean, they are the absolute picture of divine royalty. And of course, surrounding the king and queen is the immediate royal entourage. We've got the Adityas waiting upon and worshipping them. We also see Varuna's chief minister, Sunabha, who is surrounded by his own sons and grandsons. And fascinatingly, even a sacred water known as Go is present here in a living form to worship the Lord of the Waters. This really sets a highly organized, deeply reverent stage before we start mingling with the broader guest list. Right, and speaking of that broader guest list, who exactly makes the VIP cut for the Lord of the Waters? Honestly, think of this next section as an ancient registry of the cosmos. It's detailing the attendees of a gathering that is unlike any other in the universe.
So, the crucial point is, to make sense of the sheer scale of the event, we really need to group these sprawling lists of mythological names into distinct lore categories. First up, we have the great serpents, the Nagas. You'll see famous names like Vasuki and Takshaka. And then you have the legendary titans, the Daityas and Danavas, including heavy hitters like Bali, Naraka, and Viprachiti.
Let's look a little closer at the Nagas for a second. The source doesn't just list their names off, it actually provides specific visual details for these great serpents. They're described as having auspicious marks, intricate mandalas, and extended hoods. And notably, the text emphasizes that they wait upon Varuna without anxiety of any kind. I think that's so interesting. Despite being these fearsome creatures, they are completely at peace in this divine sanctuary.
Then we have the immortal titans. Now these are beings known throughout the lore as fierce subjugators of the earth. They possess immense bravery and powerful boons. Yet in this specific cosmic court, they are beautifully attired in celestial robes, bedecked with crowns, earrings, and floral wreaths. They're
They're described as being perfectly well of conduct and holding excellent vows. It just goes to show that Varuna's Sabha commands ultimate respect from even the most formidable beings out there.
Okay, now we move to what is perhaps the most fascinating and honestly deeply philosophical part of this ancient guest list. But before we do, let's make sure we're on the same page with the word personified. It simply means representing an abstract quality or a thing in nature in a human or living form. Keep that concept right at the front of your mind as we move forward.
Because to help us understand the mind-bending scale of this gathering, the text notes that all four oceans themselves are in attendance. Yes, literally. They are there in their personified forms, as living, breathing entities worshiping the deity of water. And the oceans aren't gathering alone either. A massive list of rivers also flow into this assembly. We have those explicitly titled the Queens of Rivers, like the Kaveri and the Langali, and they are sitting right alongside world-renowned places of pilgrimage like the Ganges, the Saraswati, and the Sindhu. The rivers themselves are VIP guests stepping right out of the riverbeds to attend this thing.
Now, why this matters and what you should really take away from this is how this text reveals ancient humanity's deep, deep reverence for nature. They viewed all geography, the very points of the heavens, the earth itself, every single species of aquatic animal, all the way down to local sacred springs, small wells, and tanks as living entities worthy of a cosmic presence. It's just a profoundly interconnected view of the universe.
And this brilliantly illustrates the magical, almost whimsical nature of the source text. It specifically points out that the mountains, noted for being delightful and rich in jewels, are hanging out in the assembly in their personified forms, just enjoying sweet converse with one another. It's a slightly humorous but deeply enchanting image. Just picture literal mountains, completely decked out in jewels, having a polite little chat with each other at a party.
Of course, no celestial party of this magnitude is complete without top-tier entertainment. The vibrant atmosphere is capped off by various tribes of Gandharvas and Apsaras. They are totally devoted to providing beautiful vocal and instrumental music, singing these eulogistic hymns to honor Varuna and delight his incredible, diverse array of guests.
So we've seen the unparalleled splendor of the god of water's assembly. We've seen the jewel-bearing trees, the peaceful serpents, and the chatting mountains. But the cosmic traveler Narada doesn't actually stop his story there. He ends this vivid account with a perfect cliffhanger. He tells the king, "Such is the assembly room of Varuna, seen by me. Listen now to the account I give of the assembly room of Kuvera. Now Kuvera is the god of wealth. If the god of water's sanctuary is this abundant and serene, what in the world does the ultimate mansion of the god of wealth look like? Does infinite wealth bring infinite peace, or does it bring something entirely different?" Well, to find out, you'll have to join us next time for another explainer. Keep learning, and we'll see you then.